Alright, we are here on the winning side of things tonight. What's good, Knicks Nation? Knicks finally back in the win column after losing 3 straight. Hey, it was against a bum team, a G League team, but a win is a win, right? So let's get into this one. The New York Knicks, after having a woeful loss to the Houston Rockets and going on a 3-game skid, go into Memphis as they continue this road trip looking to bounce back, and that they did against a, jawless, Zach Edey-less Memphis Grizzlies team. New York will come out the gate looking pretty strong, and in the first half, they really just surmount to like one of the best starts in Knicks history, getting 79 points in the first half. Now, don't get it twisted here. The Knicks did decide to give us a little scare where the Grizzlies did bring this back down into single digits in the third quarter, but New York was able to keep that lead against a bum team tonight and ultimately win 130-119. So there you have it. Knicks now get their 49th win on the season, just one more win away from going to another 50-win regular season. It would be 3 seasons in a row where they've won 50 plus games. So, hey, let's see if the Knicks can do that before the season ends. But a good win against a bum team tonight. You had Karl-Anthony Towns looking good. OG Anunoby giving you some good minutes tonight as well. Mikal Bridges giving you some good minutes as well. Jose Alvarado looking like he's getting back to life. And then you had the return of Landry Shamet, and it looked like he didn't miss a beat as he'd go 5-9 from the field. So let's talk about it tonight, people. Let's talk about it tonight. Hit that thumbs up button for your boy. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Just me tonight, man. Solo dolo on the live stream tonight. Hey, thank you all for joining for another KFTV post-game live. Before we get to your calls, let's get through all the stuff that we saw tonight. And look, I know it is just the Memphis Grizzlies. So some of you are going to say, how do we quantify this win? Look, you know what? Sometimes you just need a game where it's against a lesser opponent just to try to get back on track. And I hope this is the case for the New York Knicks because, one, coming in tonight, they should win. I know they didn't have Jalen Brunson, Mitchell Robinson, and Deuce McBride tonight. This is a game they were projected to win just because, look, this Grizzlies team is tanking. They're trying to figure stuff out. They're getting rid of players. They traded Triple J. They're probably going to trade Ja Morant this offseason if they can. They're looking to rebuild, go into the draft, and just look for good lottery odds. So, Knicks, we're in good position to win tonight, but still they had to go out there and perform. But you still had to have a little bit of worries, as I said, in that third quarter where so many stupid turnovers, man. Just so many stupid turnovers. Nevertheless, they got it done. But hopefully, like I said, this is the game where they get back on track. That way, moving forward in the next couple of games, getting ready for the postseason, they can start to figure some things out. And I know where everyone's going to start with. No Brunson. I know the whole chatter on whether Brunson is causing the issue because he's pounding the living daylights out of the rock, which is true at times. But let's not go too far, people, all right? This is the Memphis Grizzlies. They were not going to beat the Knicks tonight. They were not. They weren't going to beat them tonight. This is a woeful team. Like I said, they're worrying about lottery odds. Let's not make the whole narrative saying now that Brunson's out that this team went back to moving the rock and it's all gravy just because Brunson didn't play, okay? This is a weak opponent. Still had some bumbling moments throughout the game, but it is what it is, okay? But let's start things off right, okay? Let's start things off right with who the player of the game was, and that is none other than the guy who got the triple-double himself tonight, Karl-Anthony Towns. There's been a lot of talk on whether or not Karl-Anthony Towns is going to be ready for this postseason run, right? We all heard the comments like he's still trying to figure things out. This is not something new. We heard that at the beginning of the season. Over the course of the last couple of games, not getting enough touches early on in the game, being, iced out by his own teammates. What's going on, right? That's been the whole question. What is going on with Towns? Well, tonight, without Brunson out there, he looked very comfortable, especially since there was nobody that was going to be able to check him on the other side. Towns was able to get to work tonight. Man got 20 points, 11 boards, 11 assists. Still had his 7 turnovers, all right? Very careless with the rock tonight. But hey, got the triple-double, went 4 or 5 from the free throw line. No threes tonight. No threes. Okay. But you saw the playmaking chops from him, working down low, finding guys while he was out on the perimeter. You saw him being able to bang in the paint, drive as always. Karl-Anthony Towns playing a strong game tonight. Like I said, against a woeful Grizzlies team, just taking advantage of every single matchup that we saw out there. And look, this is what you want to see from Towns, especially against a weak team. You know, drawing the double team, finding guys cutting baseline to get easy buckets, being able to take on the weaker opponent and just finish off of drives or finish with the back to the basket with hook shots. Towns was very dominant tonight working in the paint, showing off his strength, and you hope that he can do this against top tier teams. Look, this season is still this regular season is still going on. You got the Boston Celtics that you got to face off against to close things out. That's the second to last game. Still got the Raptors, who I know they lost tonight, so you got the Sixers who are in the 6th seed, but that's still a team that, you know, could still show up and give you some you know, be a pest. Not too trouble since the Knicks have been able to handle the Raptors, but it's still a team you got to be on the lookout for. But Towns tonight definitely had a good night, and hopefully this is a way to get him back on track. All right. Now, with that being said, we also had some contributions from other guys as well. Outside of Karl-Anthony Towns for being the player of the game tonight, you also had Mikal Bridges finally looking like the guy at the beginning of the season. Once again, we got to keep putting the caveat out there saying it is the Memphis Grizzlies. But I'm going to keep saying, you want these guys just to get back into rhythm, man. Like, you don't want these guys just to be like ice cold. But Mikal tonight was back in the shooting bag. I mean, look, against a team like the Grizzlies, we see him driving, finishing through contact. Not a surprise. Honestly, not a surprise. When you get a team that is really throwing out guys who are auditioning to be in the league for next season, right? So Bridges, being a veteran himself in this league, able to take advantage of guys who are, you know, inexperienced. We saw that from the Grizzlies tonight. A lot of these guys were going east to west, not really getting downhill with a defender in front of them. Couldn't break guys down, just create their own shots. So against a team like this, Mikal is definitely going to have a good night. And he's definitely one of the role players of tonight. Goes 9 of 15 from the field, gets 24 points, 3 of 9 from downtown. Even got to the free throw line. Look at that. 3 of 3 from the line. 2 boards, 1 assist, 3 turnovers. And look, we know what he can do defensively when he's on point and he's actually giving effort. Not saying it was a great defensive effort tonight, but he was able to be a disruptor as a help defender tonight to a certain degree. But Mikal Bridges being a role player, look, this is a guy that really needs to show up and show out and really needs to get things figured out. Because as we've seen for about a month now, this guy's been in a cold streak. We've had the conversation is this guy going to be ready? Is this guy, you know, where is it? Where is he mentally? You know, he seems like he was checked out, just like in his own head. And games like this tonight could help somebody get back into rhythm. But I'm just curious to see how he's going to perform against, once again, top-end teams. You're going to have, look, let me pull up the Knicks schedule real quick and see who we're facing off as the team, as the season winds down. Just because we do know the Chicago Bulls are up on the docket. They are next. They are next on, what is it, in 2 days. So you got them on Friday. Then you're going to get Atlanta, Boston, Toronto, and Charlotte. So outside of Chicago, you got teams that are in the play-in hunt, right? Atlanta, Boston, Toronto, Charlotte. Those are teams that are competitive. They're looking to make a deep playoff run or just make the playoffs, right? Depending where they are, if they're in the play-in category. And for a guy like Mikal, you want to make sure that he gets into rhythm because, look, when you invested that many picks in a guy like him, he can't be playing the way he has over the last month. He needs to be locked in. He needs to be focused. He needs to provide the intangibles that he was brought here to do. Be a pest off ball. be a guy that you can rely on defensively on the perimeter, be a switchable defender too, and be able to use that wingspan. On top of that, we know what he was able to do to start the season. Just get to his mid-range spot, getting downhill to his mid-range spot, and just being automatic. We need him to get back into that type of rhythm, man. So hopefully this is that type of game. Hopefully this is that type of game for him. Good game for him. I'm not making really too much about this game, man. I'm not really going to make too much about beating the Memphis Grizzlies just because it's the Grizzlies. Like, it's tough, man. After the way that this team has gone on a skid, it's really hard to really know where this team stands right now and how prepared they will be, right? I mean, if you want to get angry tonight for even allowing the Grizzlies to get back into a single-digit game and giving them some confidence, you certainly can be. But it's just going to be tough, man. Honestly, it's like I'm still waiting to figure out what this team is about to do. And I think these next 5 games is really going to determine a lot in where this team is mentally, physically, for the postseason, just from a preparation standpoint. Look, from that 7-game winning streak where they were barely beating bottom feeders to then losing against 3 teams who are still competing to then beating a woeful team. There's still a lot to figure out about this team, man. There's still a lot to figure out about their identity and what they're going to look like in the postseason because they haven't really formed an identity yet. And we're not even sure if this team is fully right yet. Okay? But keeping this thing going. Let's get to the other guy who was a role player of tonight. Landry Shamet, man. ShamWow returning after missing some time due to injury. He comes back out and it looks like he hasn't missed a beat. That's what you need, man, especially when this team was desperate for three-point shooting off the bench. Shamet coming back and looking like himself, all right? In 31 minutes that he played, got you 13 points, 5 of 9 from the field, 3 of 5 from downtown. Didn't hit his free throw. Got his 3 boards, 1 assist, 1 turnover, got 2 steals. Man was just hustling like he never missed a minute, man. And that's going to be important for a team that's looking to try and make a deep postseason run. You need all the firepower you can get at this point. Because we saw, even against OKC, where you don't have Deuce McBride, who's fully healthy yet, and is trying to work through the pain to be able to compete regularly. You need somebody who's going to be out there who you know is consistent on the perimeter as a wing that's going to give 110% on a night-to-night basis. And that's Landry Shamet. And it was nice to see, nice to see him come back out here and look normal. And this is a good confidence boost for him to say, hey, I returned from injury and my form is still great. After I was missing some time. And for this team, yeah, it complicates what the rotation will look like. But I never thought Shamet was going to be out of the rotation to begin with. And with him back, it just gives, I won't say confidence, but it probably makes Mike Brown's job a little bit easier, knowing who he can rely on coming off the bench and seeing that Shamet, because imagine if Shamet came back and he was looking a little shaky and you got 5 games left to get ready for the postseason. Mike Brown would probably be like, oh man, what am I going to do now? What am I going to do now with guys who, you know, are still trying to figure it out while this starting rotation has a lot going on about them, where it's like, it's not a great conversation. We all saw the numbers today. This starting 5 has played a lot of minutes. They're essentially a net negative when it comes to starting these games and performing from an offensive and defensive standpoint. And then if you think about, hey, I don't really have Deuce who's fully healthy. I don't got Shamet. If Shamet wasn't looking healthy, Mike Brown would be in a tough spot, man. So I know he's probably happy to see Shamet playing well. And damn, thank Thank goodness that he looks. Thank goodness that he looks good. Salute to everyone in the chat. I see my guy Dexter Henry. I see Chuck in here as well. Throw a hashtag PE in here. And salute to everyone for being on another KFTV postgame live checking in, man. Yeah, man, I'm running it solo tonight. It's all good. Hey, it's all good, man. It's the Grizzlies, man. It's the Grizzlies. We out here talking about it, man. I want to talk with you. I want to hang out with the people, man. Talk about this game. And look, I know that I want to know how you all feel, actually. Are you all okay? How do you all feel about this game right now? In the chat, how do you all feel about this game right now? How are you ranking this game beating the Grizzlies? Are you just kind of like, I still need to see more because of what I just went through with the Knicks the last 3 games? Or you could even say the last 10 games during that 7-game winning streak? Or are you telling me that, hey, I'm feeling confident again just because we got this win against the Grizzlies? And this is the get right game that they need to build their confidence to get back on trajectory. Let me know in the chat, man. What do you all think? How are you feeling about this? Okay? How you feeling about this? Hey, Huck was looking pretty good out there. Huck was, I see Soul Train. Yeah, Huck, I mean, look, Huck was looking pretty good out there to begin. I mean, well, once again, the caveat is, it is the Memphis Grizzlies. But man was throwing up the flex, is throwing up the muscle like, yo, yeah, I'm good right now. Finishing through contact. I was like, man, if you could just do this on the regular, I'd be happy. We'd all be happy. No, the center depth was fine. All right. I see some of you saying it's a good get right game. Some of you saying, nope, don't believe. Still feeling blah. All right. Marie B saying feeling blah. All right. Some are saying a good win. Some are saying you need more. Okay. Brooklyn's finest, I see you, says can't get excited against the 10-day contract team. Fair point. A lot of mixed feelings in the chat right now. I feel you. Totally feel you. Totally feel you. Absolutely. And you have every right to have mixed feelings about this team. Welcome to being a Knicks fan. They always give you this way, man. They always make you feel this way. I don't think there's been a Knicks team that has made me feel like, ooh, so confident. And look, with all the pressure that we got going on right now, it's fun to be in the position of just feeling pressure, man, just to compete. But yeah, I feel all of you, man. I see all of you. Derek Roy saying, do this against Detroit next month. All right, I see all of you, man. It's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag, and I get that. I totally get that. Hey, this is what we are. And there's Ari saying, enjoy the ride, guys. Just enjoy the ride. I can sense the sarcasm, Ari. I can sense the sarcasm. But hey, appreciate everyone for tuning in for another KFTV post-game live. Welcome. Knicks just defeated the Memphis Grizzlies 130-119. Hey, Knicks are back in the win column. Can they keep this winning streak going? All right, can they close out? I would like to see this team. Look, they should definitely beat Chicago. I mean, Chicago is another. They should be able to beat Chicago. They should be able to beat Atlanta. I still believe they can beat Boston even with Tatum back. But they just got to do it, man. They got the talent, but they got to be there. I believe they can do this. I believe that they can do this. However, they have not shown me that I should be 100% confident in them. They got the talent, but can they do it? Is always the question. All right? We're going to get to some of your calls in a minute, man. Just running through a few things before we get there, but we are going to get to your calls in a minute. I see we got some people on the Discord, so hang tight before we get to you, okay? And salute to one of our sponsors tonight. And our sponsor for tonight is Fabletics. Let me tell you something about Fabletics, people. There's just something about throwing on a fresh set of workout clothes, and it just makes you feel confident. It gets you locked in, you know? I like to feel good and look good when I go out there playing basketball, when I'm lifting weights, man. So that's why you got to go out there and support Fabletics, all right? Because, look, when you buy any new gear, the money adds up real quick. But that's the difference with Fabletics. If you join as a VIP, it doesn't rack up like if you're going out buying some of those high name brands. When I signed up to be a Fabletics VIP, I got 80% off of everything. And I thought it was too good to be true. It's not the quality that surprised me. It's just how everything fit, right? It's not the quality, just the quality. It's like how everything fits, man. It fits like a glove, premium fit, durable, comfortable. It's the kind of active wear you'd normally pay way more for. The fit is dialed in too. Joggers that keep you in shape, jackets that keep you warm without feeling bulky. It's perfect for workouts, travel days, and just getting back into your routine. All right. For me, I bought the line shorts. I bought the tee. I play basketball on the regular. I like feeling light when I'm out there on the court. And Fabletics has gear that makes me that is just like that. And so while I'm out there, it makes me feel great. And look, Fabletics already has incredible deals. And I've got an exclusive offer just for everybody out there, all right? You can get 80% off of everything when you sign up as a VIP. Just head to fabletics.com/KFTV, take the style quiz, and be sure to select KFTV when prompted, all right? That's fabletics.com/KFTV. All right. Getting back to it. This team is just confusing, man. All right, this team is really just confusing. Because when even a game like tonight with the win, right? Do you think that they could be just fully dominant? Fully, and I mean fully dominant. And when you're going through what they were able to do in the first half and then how quickly it turned into a close game, these are the type of things where I'm like, all right, you just demonstrated that you are not fully locked in. You're not paying attention to the details against anybody right now. All right, you are just out there and just working off of pure talent. That 7-game winning streak against bottom feeders was pure talent. When you needed to lock in and actually get down to the nitty-gritty of executing on your game plan and relying on your talent, you weren't able to do that. You couldn't do that against the Hornets. You couldn't do that against OKC and against a Rockets team that has been abysmal. And I mean abysmal in the sense of like they can't figure, like the playmaking for them is just so difficult to figure out. The Knicks allowed them to look like a great team that had playmaking, and that just didn't make any sense. And so what's confusing about this team is that you come into tonight knowing that you've just gone through really a mess of 10 games. Yeah, you won 7 games in a row, but it's not looking like a team that's ready for that postseason run, as I said on the OKC post game. In a game like tonight, where at least they were playing physical and angry, you still weren't locked in fully. You got too much of a comfortable lead that you then are like, let's get a little creative. Some errant passes, missing layups, driving. It's like it felt like they even got sped up in this game against a Grizzlies team that shouldn't even be able to speed them up. They won, nevertheless, but still, this is like a team. This is supposed to be a veteran savvy team that's ready to make this deep postseason run, and they can still easily do that. But this is the stuff that, like, while I believe that they have the talent to do it, you don't win on paper. You got to go out there and execute. And I just feel like this team, when it gets down to executing right now, I don't know why everything goes out the window. And not jumping out the window, just goes out the window. It's like they take their whole stack of papers, like everything that they practiced, they were studying for, and just say, nope, forget it all. Forget it all. Let's just figure it out on the fly. And it's just mind-boggling, man. Just absolutely mind-boggling. You can't have that as you're getting ready for this run. You can't do that when, let's see, if you were talking about the season to end today, if the season were to end today, they would face up against the Philadelphia 76ers. And now, while they have had a lot of success against the 76ers, you just can't take anyone lightly in the postseason. I don't care. I don't even care if it's like even the Raptors, who they've had, who they've dominated during the regular season. You can't play with arrogance. All right. Let's just even rewind it back to last season where the Knicks were facing off against the Celtics in the second round. Even though the Knicks were the better team by beating them, the Celtics played with an arrogant brand of basketball. And you could sense it, you could see it. The way they stuck to their guns, they didn't really adjust. Knicks did what they had to do. They beat them. But what I'm saying is if you're going to play an arrogant game, you're going to win stupid prizes. So the Knicks, even though they got the Sixers right now, shouldn't take anybody lightly. Yes, they've had a lot of success against them. But with a team that hasn't really been able to lock in to the nitty-gritty, anything can happen. Anything can happen. And so Knicks really got to use this span of games to get back into it. All right? Knicks got to use this span of games to get back into it. All right. Let's get to some of these calls, man. I'm loading them up on the Discord. Remember, if you are a franchise channel member, you get to skip the line and get straight up to start the call. And right now we got Maly on the line. Maly, what's going on, bro? How you feeling?
What's going on, Alex?
How you feeling about this game?
Honestly, I mean, I think, the good thing to take away from this game, I'll say, is, getting to see guys get going. Like, seeing Mikal have 20, I can't remember the last time he got 20. Seeing that was good. Seeing Cat, I think he got a triple-double. He was involved a lot in the game. OG looked like he found his shot. Shamet looked like he didn't really miss a step. I think you just need games like this to kind of get you going. I mean, I didn't really expect much from this game. I kind of just wanted these guys to kind of stay warm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I mean, we have 5 more games left into the playoffs.
Yeah, we got 5 more games, man. 5 more games until the postseason. They'll have a week off after the 5 games, but yeah, only 5 more games for this dress rehearsal.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I think we're playing. If I had to guess, I think we're playing the Raptors in the first round. I think, just by looking at it, I don't know. I feel like the Sixers, they have a really hard schedule. I think the Raptors. I think that's going to be the team we play first round. But yeah,
and I'd love to get the Raptors too. That's a team that we've dominated. You can't take them lightly, but I would like to get the Raptors out of anybody in the first round.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to take. Because honestly, if I'm being true, no matter who we play first round, I think it's still going to be respectable. It's not going to be like, oh, we're going to blow them out or anything. It's it's still going to be close games. But yeah, I mean, we just got to continue. The games to kind of mark down are that Celtics game. I don't really expect us getting the second seed at this point. I think it's a little bit out of reach. Celtics got an easy schedule now, but I just want us, at least beat them. I mean, we think we beat them 2-1, so I think it'll be good to beat them again with Tatum back.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we just gotta continue until the postseason, and that's it.
Yeah, man. Just gotta see what happens, man. Just gotta wait until the postseason. Appreciate the call, Maly. Rate that call in the chat, people. 5 being facts, 1 being trash. What do you think about Maly's call tonight? Are you with him? Are you with Maly right now saying, yo, this is a game that I just want to see them get back on track? As he said, just wanted to see them get back into a rhythm right before the postseason. I agree with that aspect. I want to see them get back into a rhythm. And while it is against the Memphis Grizzlies, a team that is looking more for draft lottery odds than really playing for wins and just allowing these guys to audition to be in the league, look, Knicks got to go out there and play well and still just get into a rhythm so that that way they can look good. Still got to do that, okay? Let's get to another caller. Let's get to Tone. Tone, how are you feeling?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How'd you feel about tonight's game? Are you happy about the win? Are you like, all right, I'm back into buying that this team is all set to get back into their championship contender ways, or you're still hesitant? Are you still skeptical?
Honestly, I already knew they was gonna win this game. But this is just a get right game. I think it was good that the others got involved without JB being there. So Mikal got his thing going. OG started shooting better. Cat got a triple-double. I think that's what we need right now. I'm not too much. I know everything looks crazy right now with the Knicks, but I'm honestly not too worried about them. I've seen them. I know it's not that important, but with the NBA Cup, I've seen them lock in when it's time to lock in. So I know when playoffs is different than regular season because you play that one team. You don't have to you study for that one team. The regular season is this game, and then you got to go to this place. No, it's one season, one team. You stay there, lock in with that team, and that's what you do. And I think they'll be perfectly fine with that. Uh, yeah, it sucks not getting wins against the Thunder and stuff, but I'm not really worried about Boston. I feel like we can still beat them, even with Tatum. We just beat them last year with Tatum. Everybody love to say, "Oh, Tatum got injured." Like he got injured, but we was still up like double digits in that game. Like we was about to beat them anyway, so it don't really matter. Detroit, they they're the only tough one, but honestly, if you double Cade, they don't have no other scorers like that. Like, and that one we just need Cat. The Detroit series, we gonna need Cat to be at like 100%. Cause that's the one, that's the game changer there. Cause nobody in Detroit could guard Cat. He just got to get out of his head when he played them. But other teams, I'm not worried about them, man. I'm not worried about if we do make it to the finals. I'm not worried about the Thunder. I'm not worried about nobody, man. We good.
So this
All
whole
82.
all 82, I agree with that. So no, because you know how it's busy. You know how it is, Tone. The last 10 games, 7 games against bum teams that they won, squeaked them out, and then the last 3, that these games don't phase you. It's just regular course. This team's gonna be fine.
But you know what? When you played the bum teams, they're a veteran team. Sometimes some teams just be ready for the playoffs. I think that's just what the Knicks are right now. I think they just ready for the playoffs. They know it's there. They're already in, so they gonna have. I think it was like a week off before the playoffs start, and then they got all them games, like the playing season games and stuff. So they get time to rest and chill out. I think they looking forward towards that than playing these last little couple games. They definitely got to work on be better with their starts because their starts be terrible. I'm not gonna lie, that's annoying. The starts is terrible, and the multiple games of them not giving Cat the ball would be terrible too. Even like you can see today, even if he don't shoot it, he creates so much stuff just being there because they're gonna double team him. Every team double teams Cat, so somebody gonna be wide open. Like just give him the ball and let him work. That's why I like that one play he had with Jose, where Jose gave it to him and then he passed it right back, and Jose was cutting to the basket. Like that's how the point guard center thing should look. Like JB, that's you gotta do that a little bit. Like that's how it should be, cause they gonna double team Cat. He's too good. But yeah, I'm not really worried about what's the name. I know these teams. We should beat these teams, and I do want to beat Boston just to shut up everybody. But then if we do beat them, they gonna say that it don't really matter because it's the end of the season, blah blah blah. So I think we could. It's a we'll lose for the Knicks anyway. We win, they say it's a bum team. If we lose, we suck, we frauds and all type of stuff. So it is what it is at this point.
All right, man. Appreciate the call, Tone. It is what
All
it
right.
is, as he said. Is what it is, he said. And look, I think for me, like based on what the comments from Josh Hart and everybody's saying, look, they don't want to be playing this brand of basketball going into the postseason. I do think that even though I think it's mixed in this locker room, I think this is where the divide is. I think there's guys in this locker room who are just looking for the postseason, and because of the way that they went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, based on just like with their inconsistencies, to saying, hey, we did turn up another notch, we were able to get there. I think there's a lot of that credit that is still being applied to them this year, and they're buying into that. I'm not saying it's the entire locker room, but I think there's a fragment of the locker room that still believes that. And I think the other part, which I would say that Brunson and Hart are in, guys who are, trying to win as much as possible, be in a good rhythm as much as possible into the postseason. They're not satisfied with this style of play because they believe that you need to be in a certain rhythm getting into the postseason. And I agree with that. I agree with the latter because this team hasn't really earned the right to say we can flip a switch and be okay. They have not earned that. Even with how they performed last year, a lot of it was a slugfest, whether it was against Detroit, being down twice, big time against Boston, and not being able to close out Game 5. Like they were able to get to the ECF and just 2 games away from being to the NBA Finals, but throughout that whole process, there are series that they should have been, like, I thought against Detroit, they should have done that in 5. I thought they had the talent. It was a slugfest. I thought there was a lot of meat left on the bone that they could have gone against Detroit and really closed that one out to get the rest and energy needed for Boston. Same thing against Boston, where they just allowed that momentum back in TD Garden just to extend it to a Game 6. I thought they should have closed it out in 5. I thought they should have been able to do that. This team has earned to themselves that credit. I still don't think they have that right to say that they can flip a switch. And it's important for them to get into rhythm now, because not just in basketball, but in all sports, you do want to be in a rhythm. Sports is a rhythm process. Knowing where you're going to be on the court, knowing your spots, knowing how many steps, it takes time, and you want to be feeling good. All right? You want to build that confidence. Being in good rhythm builds that confidence to take you to that next level in that postseason run. And I think that if this team actually locked in for this part, it's different during the middle of the season. The entire thing can't be considered the dog days of the regular season. You can't say, all right, February's dog days, March is dog days, then April's dog days. At some point, someone's got to rev up, right? And I like to compare it to like running a 400 meter, all right? For anyone who's ran track out there, you could push back. But for what coaches how I was trained for coaching, you start out tough, first 100 meter, going around that curve, you start to not necessarily dial it back, but your strides. You're striding. You're cooling it for the next 100 to 150 meters. And then you slowly start to tick it up once you get to the 150 meter, the remaining 150, and start to move faster and faster to close it out. And I feel like that's the proper analogy for how the Knicks should be closing out this season. You had the middle of the season to cool it. All right, working strides. Even if you're losing games and still showing, hey, this is the process of what we're doing. Same game plan, moving the rock, cutting off ball, not reverting back to isolation, which this team has a bad habit of doing. Just going back to stuff that they did last season under Tibbs. If you said every single game they were doing what they were supposed to do, and I think a good example would be, look at what whether it be Boston, right? Let's use Boston as an example. That team likes to shoot threes. They go by the same principles every single game. Whether they win or lose, you know for the most part how they're going to approach the game. If the Knicks were approaching every game the same way, and we're talking about losing by, shots not falling here or there, a few defensive possessions here or there, I think we would all be like in a different spot saying, hey, they won most of their games. They have an identity. They know how they want to approach the game. It's just missed shots here and there. But the fact that they revert back and forth to too many different things without being in rhythm, that's why I feel like they got to really close this thing out strong before they get to the postseason. They got to get into a good rhythm just so that way they can feel confident and everyone knows what their roles and what their assignments are getting to that next phase in the postseason. So it's a long journey in the postseason. Different thing. Not saying they can't do it, because a lot of you like to think I'm saying that they can't do it. You got to be scared to be worried. No, I'm not saying that. All right, I'm not saying that at all. But you do want to you want to position yourself where you're good. You want to position yourself where you're feeling good and you know that you can compete. And I don't think the Knicks are doing that right now. Now, this is a good step tonight in the right direction, but you got to execute on the last 5 games. You got to execute on the last 5 games to put yourself in that position, okay? You just got to do that. All right. Let's bring in all right, man. Let's get back to the lines. We got the Knicksfix on the line. See, this is what I'm saying. If you're a franchise channel member, you get to skip the line and get back up here, man. Knicksfix, what's going on, bro? How you feeling?
Alex, what up, bro?
Not much, man. How you feeling about this one? Are you feeling okay? Where do you land on this game?
You know, man, like, all right, like the way that they perform tonight, you kind of expect that, right? They're playing against the Grizzlies here, it's the bottom feeders. I mean, 2/3 of the leagues nowadays seems like they're bottom feeders, bro. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see like whenever you know what's funny, man. We never get to see the young guys, right? So when I see Kolek back in there, and now Diawara is glued to the bench, but he played tonight. That's what's actually fun to see. I mean, just to touch on what you were saying earlier, bro. I feel like I wonder, like the next week is probably going to tell us all that we need to know because we're playing against some pretty much big time Eastern teams, right? We're playing against the Hawks, the Celtics, Charlotte, Toronto. I mean, and we're playing at home. If you can't win at home in those games, then then what? I mean, it is a sobering season, but what's crazy is like we had the same exact record as last year, right?
Up until this point, yeah, through the same amount of games, we had the same record.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see, man. I just called in because I was like, you know what? This one was better than the last two games. Again, a win is a win. But like, it is what it is. I was excited to see Cat like play point for a little bit there, but I'm like, all right, let's just fast forward this to next week and into the playoffs, man.
Hey, we're almost there. We're almost there, Knicksfix. We're almost there. Judgment Day is upon us. Okay, Judgment Day is upon us soon. So we'll figure out what this team is actually made of once we're there. All right.
Yeah. One thing I want to leave off before I go quickly, man, is I feel like they lack that fire, man. Like Brown doesn't have that. Like Matt Barnes said it, right? Like he's too nice. Like they lack that fire, and they don't have clear, defined roles. That's the difference between last year and this year. Anyway, Alex, stay up, bro.
Appreciate you, Knicksfix. Appreciate you for calling in. Hey, this is a very nice team. That's the one thing. It doesn't matter who's been on here. CP, Jeff, CK. I've said this is a very, very, very nice team. These guys need a little bit more like. They need an edge, man. They need an edge to themselves, They need that energy that I know he didn't really play, but like what PJ Tucker would bring, PJ's gritty, man. PJ will like he'll get it out the mud. You need guys who will get it out the mud. Brunson can, but like he's not gonna be I don't want to make too many assumptions, but it's like he's a leader by example. He's a leader by example. All right. Not sure of everything behind the scenes, but clearly a leader by example. His approach to the game, how he fights out there on the court, that's who he is. That's who he is. We see Hart being vocal. We see Mitch now being vocal. I just feel like you need somebody who really plays with that type of edge. That's what this team is missing, man. Too many nice guys. Too many people are willing to dap up and be like, oh, yeah, cool. Good game, man. Well, let's go home. Can I get a jersey swap? Da-da-da-da-da. Need a little bit more of an edge on this team, man. Need a little bit more of an edge. That's right. Respect, Shaq. Appreciate you for being a franchise channel member. We need dogs on this team, man. We need some dogs on this team. It's a little, everyone's too kind. Everyone's too kind, man. We got some super chats here, man. Let's salute some of these super chats. First and foremost, shout out to Adams Yanks Cap for becoming a franchise channel member. Shout out to you. We got Eric Horn 101. Shout out to you for being a franchise channel member. And the $5 super chat says was in the building tonight. Tickets were $10 tonight. Damn, $10. Where'd you sit for $10? That arena looked empty. Didn't look like anyone was there. But $10. That's crazy, man. It's probably cheaper just to fly out to Memphis at this point and go watch a game. Wow. And then shout out to Harrison Montreal 95 for the Canadian $7. He says, I've noticed Cat have some success posting up with his back to the basket tonight. Think it's signs of things to come? I hope. Look, Cat is not like the best. Like I asked for Cat to get the ball in the paint, and the reason is because when he was out in Minnesota, if you ran a pick and roll with him and he got the mismatch, you just got your guys to switch like the guarding Cat. That's just an easy turnaround hook shot for him. He can usually work it. Not every match is going to be the same. We saw that Caruso can give him fits. We know like a guy like Drew Holiday is good at guarding bigs too. Not saying Drew is like out there. I know he's out in Portland whatever. I'm just giving you an example. Like somebody like that could give a big some trouble. But I think for Cat, man, like when he gets to the post, it's just like big things for him is just working the double team, making passes. He's capable of doing it. And then just being able to score against the weaker mismatch. But I think the biggest thing for Cat, to get the most success out of him, is make him a 3-point shooter. Make him a 3-point shooter. This guy is, self-proclaimed one of the best shooting big men there's ever been. We don't use him in trailing threes. We don't really create a lot of good looks, even for a pick and pop for him to get threes. I mean, we're talking about lows for career-wise from shooting from three. He has the capability to drill from downtown. But like Mike Brown, like we got to make sure that we get this guy going. This is one of his skill sets. I don't know why we're not utilizing one of his best attributes, right? This man is shooting just all right. So this is the third lowest 3-point percentage. Hold on. Let me make sure I get this one right. Fourth. This is fourth. Yeah, it's the fourth. Fourth lowest 3% 3-point shooting percentage. Shot 34% as a rookie. 36.7 his second season. He shot 36% during 22-23 on the Timberwolves, and this year is shooting 36.8. This is a guy who's capable of shooting 42% from downtown like he did last season. And we're not utilizing that. Just mind-boggling, man. Mind-boggling. This is the same guy who, by the way, has averaged about 8 attempts from downtown and shot 41%. And we're not utilizing that. I don't know why we're not utilizing that. That's the biggest thing. That is the biggest thing for me for Cat. Is like get him to shoot threes, get him trailing on threes, because then when he starts to trail, when he starts to shoot the three ball, then he can actually drive. Because right now he's trying to drive a lot more without shooting the three, and it's predictable at this point that he does want to drive. And for his size, that's what makes him so dynamic against other opposing centers, is that he can actually drive to the hoop. He has that dexterity to actually get to the hoop and get around centers. But for him to do that, usually it's him knocking down threes and then being able to do that. Or like vice versa, because he's shown that throughout an entire course of a season, he has that repertoire. We haven't shown that. We haven't done that with him this season. And that is on Mike Brown and not figuring out some sort of way to get him rolling from downtown. That's the biggest thing. Yes, I want to see him get into the paint too, because there's going to be matches where if he just does a pick and roll, drive and just rolls to the basket, gets a guard on him, he can do a hook shot. We know he can do a turnaround fadeaway mid-range baseline. We've seen him do those things. But yeah, you got to help him create opportunities, man. It can't just be strictly off of putbacks and his own boards that he gets points, man. So just got to work on that. Absolutely got to work on that. All right. Before we get to more calls, let's get to the key stats of the night. All right. Key stats of the night. All right. Let's pull up here. Let's get to NBA.com. Just refresh around here, so that way we can get to it. All right. There we go. So let's get to the key stats of the night. As we talked about earlier, the Knicks did win this one 130-119. Knicks would dominate the rebounding battle 49-20. They would also dominate the assist battle 36-27. Now they wouldn't win the steal battle, even though they did get 7. The Grizzlies did get 10 based off the Knicks, sloppy passing. Knicks would win the block battle 6-4. This is where it's still like, even against a lesser team, you got to clean this up. Knicks had 19 turnovers to the Grizzlies 13. Knicks have become somehow, some way, this team that was so good in protecting the rock has now become so loosey-goosey that they're just willing to try anything while they're out there. So 19 turnovers to the Grizzlies 13. Knicks did shoot well from the field tonight. They shot 55% from the field to the Grizzlies 51%. They shot well from downtown. They wouldn't win this battle, but they did shoot 41%. Grizzlies did shoot 44% from downtown. They beat them there. But then from the charity stripe, Knicks shot 88%, while the Grizzlies shot 83%. And then when you go to the hustle stats, my favorite categories, Knicks won the points in the paint battle, 66-44. We're able to dominate there. Knicks also won the second chance opportunities battle, 27-6, dominated there. Where the Knicks lost, not shocking, is the fast break points, man. 17-8. Knicks just were not getting back in transition fast enough at times to stop the Grizzlies from making this one a close one. And that's your key stats of the night. And to me, the biggest thing is definitely, look, in this win, great to see them dominate on the boards, great to see them dominate in the paint, stuff like that. But in this win against the Grizzlies, we can look at the positives. But I do want to point out the turnovers yet again. That is going to be the stat for me in a win. I got to go negative in this way because you can't be having 19 turnovers, man. You just can't be having 19 turnovers, and especially against a lesser opponent where you can be a little bit more crisp. We're talking about guys who are trying to make it in the league. Like we shouldn't be guys having field days out here just generating turnovers. All right, and some of these turnovers are just careless, like throwing the ball while you're on the ground, like it's just like trying to like thread needles where there's no needles to be thread. It's just baffling, man. This team needs to be better with protecting the rock. They just need to. If you continue to take careless, if you're making careless errors like this, just got to be better about it. Look, this is a team. Look on the season, this team is ranked 8th right now. They average about a shy under 14 turnovers per game. It's 13.8. But I'm sure if we look at the last, I don't know, 15 games? Let's look at the last 15 games to see where this team is. The last 15 games, Knicks are 17th, averaging 14.5 turnovers. So if you round up, it's 15. But it's 14.5. So it's more than what they've been doing on the season. And I know when they started the year, they were very good at protecting the rock. Knicks got to get back to that, man. They need to get back to protecting the basketball. That is one of the biggest things. And then obviously just getting back out in transition and preventing the easy buckets. That's just a lot more communication, a lot more effort defensively. They can work on that. We've seen them play good defense for a good stretch of period of time, but they just got to improve on that. I know that's been their Achilles heel. They don't necessarily have the athleticism to fly back up and down the court against young teams, but they still got to be able to do something to just, eliminate easy points in transition. Okay. So that is key stats of the night and is brought to you by Mars Men. All right, fellas, let me ask you something. Have you started feeling that drop off a little bit? And I'm talking about energy dipping in the middle of the day. Workouts not hitting the same. And no matter what you eat, it's just harder to stay lean. That's not how we're supposed to feel in our 30s and 40s. And for a lot of guys, it comes down to low testosterone. Now, the quick fix doctor push, TRT, but once you really look into it, you realize you're signing up for weekly shots, big costs, and shutting down your body's natural production, potentially for life. That's where Mars Men come in. Mars Men is designed to support your body's natural testosterone levels so that you get more energy, better strength, sharper focus, without needles, without synthetics, and without dependency. It's basically helping your body reset itself instead of replacing it. We're talking real ingredients made in the US, third-party tested, and they even offer a 90-day money-back guarantee. And get this, over 91% of users report higher energy levels. So if you've been falling off, this might be exactly what you need. Right now, for a limited time, our listeners can get 50% off for life, plus free shipping and 3 free gifts. Just go to mengotomars.com. That's mengotomars.com and make sure you tell them KFTV sent you, okay? Shout out to our sponsors, Mars men. All right, let's get back to the lines and hear what the people have to say, man. Let's hear what the people have to say. So who do we got here? Let's get to Hooper, man. Hooper, how you feeling?
Yo,
What up? How you feeling about this game?
what up? Feeling great.
Why are you
This is
feeling great
a
about it?
this is a good bounce back win for the Knicks.
Okay.
They needed this one. They needed get back on track.
You believe in that after this game that they're going to be fine, smooth coasting? Or where are you at with this team right now, Hooper? Are you worried about them, how they've been playing through the last 11 games? Like, where are you at with this team overall? Like, we're getting close to the postseason. Some are not really buying that, hey, these last 11 games is setting them up right for this postseason run. Others are saying, hey, they're just trying to coast, get to the postseason, and just execute in the postseason. Where do you take? What's your take on this team?
Yeah, just they have to just continue to get right for the playoffs. So ultimately, they have to just continue to do what they do, get back to their offensive principles that they were doing,
Yeah, that's the biggest
and
thing, man.
defensively just stay locked in.
That's all that
I'm not
matters, man.
worried about them. I think they'll be all right. They should be all right.
Who do you want in the first round? Anyone that you want particularly in the first round?
Oh, anyone I want the Raptors because they really don't have any much experience.
Okay.
Philly, I don't know. Philly might be an issue. Could be, but I'm not worried. Whoever we get in the first round will easily win in 4. I mean, not 4, but we'll easily win like 4 games.
Nah,
total.
man, hold it. If you're saying this is sweep, man, I want to stay with your
it
chest,
it
man.
should be a sweep, gentleman sweep.
All right, gentleman sweep. Okay.
Yeah,
Hooper
that's
believing in the gentleman sweep. Don't matter who it is in the first round. I like that energy, man. I like that
You
energy.
shouldn't really. I mean, the Knicks are the more experienced team.
Hey, they are the more experienced. They should be able to go out and execute on that manner. So we'll see what they can do. Appreciate the call,
Yeah.
Hooper.
No problem.
And that was Hooper on the line, man, saying, hey, he was trying to walk it back a little bit, say gentleman sweep. He really want to say sweep. 4 games. Don't matter, man. Don't matter who we see in the first round. 4. Get out the broomsticks. That's what he believes, man. He's talking to the Raptors out there. He's talking to Raptors fans. Hey, we're going to take out the broom, start sweeping Toronto. All right. Let's keep it going. Who else we got here? We got Jeff Glenn. Shout out to Jeff Glenn. What's going on, man? How you feeling?
Yo, what's up, Alex? Yeah, I feel like this game was like not a lot to take away from it. Shout out to Towns, almost had a quadruple double with the 7 turnovers. Would have been kind of hilarious, but shout out to him. I think like I don't know how you feel, but I kind of don't feel like Towns needs to average like 25 a game. Like I feel like if you can average like 20, 22 a game, something like that, and get like 10 rebounds, it's probably good enough. I do think underrated aspect of his game, though, maybe not underrated, but like we don't really have a lot of shot creation outside of Brunson, except for like our offensive rebounding, and Towns is a huge part of that. So I do think he like that. People don't appreciate that maybe as much as we should, because I don't think he's like really an efficient player if you're asking him to put the ball on the deck and pass out of drives and stuff like that. I think he's been pretty solid since the All-Star break. I think he's getting a lot of hate. Maybe he could be a little bit more aggressive, but I do feel like he's been overall way more efficient, which is really what we need from him. The boneheaded plays, that's what kind of kills us with him.
Mm-hmm.
We need him to be solid defensively and just not make those plays. So, yeah, I think they're just kind of getting ready for the playoffs. I didn't feel like we played too badly against OKC, so I really wasn't that mad about that loss. But yeah, I think if we get to the playoffs healthy, we're in a good spot, and Boston will be tough, but I think we can definitely take them.
All right. So okay. Appreciate the call, Jeff. Appreciate you for tapping in. There you go. You have Jeff Glenn on the line saying that he is confident where this team is at right now. Saying be damned with how the last 11 games have gone. He believes in this team. And look, I think for sticking with the whole Cat discussion, I think Cat, it's always been a conundrum for his entire career because he has the talent to go that next level, but he's just kind of been really good. You know what I mean? Like he's been talked about having like this there's like a next gear to his talent, but it's like he's always just stayed at being like that really good player. And what I will give Towns credit for is that he did buy into what Mike Brown has asked of him this season. Prior to these last couple of games, we've seen him really pick it up defensively. I know these last couple of games, not so much, but he has picked up defensively, buying into what Mike Brown wants to do. And I thought the scoring was there also through the last, 10 games or so prior to this stretch. So I do appreciate Towns buying in. And I think to the point of like not needing to score 25, 22 and 10 is still great. Like 22 until, I mean, if he was doing that, we're not really having a lot of concerns. And look, I know the numbers say that, but it's the efficiency. That's always been his biggest thing, is that he's an efficient scorer. He hasn't been really efficient this entire season, but like I said, through the last stretch that he has shown that he can still be an efficient player in Mike Brown's system. Now, with that being said, it's the big thing is him just being aggressive and the team just finding him and getting him opportune moments. And look, I've seen, shout out to Shax, he does a phenomenal job covering the team and really breaking down plays. And I know that they're trying to get Towns the ball in the paint, and he really highlighted that against OKC. But there's still, to me, what I see is like there's still some meat left on the bone, where like even where you have Alvarado or guys just missing the opportunities to get Cat the basketball just to relieve everybody else of that pressure. Like Brunson can create. We know that. But if Towns is set up in position, whether it's trailing, whether it's being on the block and then just looking away from him, like that's what we see, man. That's what I see. I see that happen. And it's just, I want this team to be as intentional as what the Hornets and other teams do, where it's like, oh, we see the mismatch. Let's just go take advantage of the mismatch. We see our guys in position to utilize his strength. Let's just do that. Because as of right now, we're really relying on Brunson to be that guy. And the whole point of how this team was constructed was to alleviate Brunson so that we didn't have to rely on him as much. Like, you don't want to have to put all that wear and tear and that mileage on him and the physical tax that his body takes, because he is a physical player. He likes to get into the paint, utilize that footwork. That's a lot of energy. It gets exhausting. He's also he's our only guy in double digits that drives on regular. He averages about over 14 drives per game. And the next closest guy, I believe right now, I think it was OG with like 7 attempts per game right now on the season. So like it's a drop off, massive drop off. You're slashing it in half of what Brunson does. And you just want this team to take advantage of the opportunities when they arise. And so I feel like they still can do that. I know Mike Brown has his principles and what he wants to do, and we've seen this team play well, moving off ball, setting up backdoor screens, and guys getting easy open looks. But with that being said, and I still want to see them do that, you're going to still have to involve Cat, man. He is the number 2. He should be the number 2 and propelling this team to that. And so it's just making sure that he gets those opportunities in order to do so. All right. Let's get to another call, man. We got Severe Elder on the line. Severe Elder, you're back. I feel like this is you're on a 3-game streak. What's going on, man?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What it do, my fellow Knickerbockerians. Salute to you, Alex, KFTV, #1 show for the fans, by the fans. Look, man, Knicks beat a team they supposed to beat tonight, and we don't give out consolation prizes for that. But with that being said, I just want to comment on props to Jose Alvarado and Tyler Kolek. Great contribution there. Alvarado had a beautiful slash line. He put up a check mark in like every statistical category. And Tyler gave you Jalen Brunson average assist totals off the bench. We finally found Mikal Bridges, who gave us more than 20 points. Seemed like he averages 20 points every 30 days. His 2 prior 20-plus point outings were March 1st and February 11th, respectively. But at 6'7", though, dude got to give me more rebounds. He can't be out-rebounded by Jose. That ain't going to work. And props to Cat, who had a nice triple-double. But player personnel, man, they got to teach him how to get into a proper defensive stance because he looked like he got 2 left feet on that end of the floor, man. Just horrendous. And shout out to ShamWow, who looked like he didn't miss a beat, man. Glad to have him back. He looked like his natural self, so that's good to see, man. That's all I need to say.
Appreciate you, Severe Elder. Appreciate you for tapping in as always, my man. Have a good one. All right. All right, people. We're getting to that point where, it is a bum night. It's getting late on the East Coast. So we're going to have to go rapid fire through the rest of these calls, and we got a few more callers left. So let's make this quick, all right? Let's get to Adam, all right? Adam, what's going on, man? How you feeling? Adam, are you there? Adam, going once. Going twice. All right, Adam, I'm going to drop you. You can try connecting. I'll try to bring it back up, man, if I see you back there, all right? So try that. Try it again. We got, who is this? We got Abdel. Abdel, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going, Alex? How are you?
Good, Abdel. How you doing, man? Is this your first time calling in?
No, it's my second time.
All right. What's up, man? How you doing? Welcome back again.
Yeah, good. I'm good. It's a Grizzlies team. I expected the Knicks to win by double digits. But there are good takeaways. Right away, I like that the Knicks were trying to find Cat on the block. I think they should do that every other play, honestly, because he's either going to get double teamed and someone's going to be free cutting to the rim. So I think he should be the one to get the ball at least every other play, if not every play, just a touch. Doesn't have to do anything, but it should at least start with him. And then we need to get Kolak more minutes. I thought he's always trying to find someone. I think he's a great court manager. I think those are two things the Knicks should look at going down to the postseason.
Okay. So getting more Kolak minutes into the postseason, and then you're talking about getting Cat on the block more. That's right. Okay. Appreciate the call, Abdel. Appreciate you for tapping back in. All right. So getting Kolak back into the rotation, I feel like that's going to be a little bit more difficult. I mean, I think with trading for Alvarado, I think they're going to continue to rely on him. It'd be cool to see Kolak come back. And look, Kolak was very instrumental during that cup win. Kolak was shown throughout the season that he can compete. I think it's just going to be defensively, man. Like defensively, he's just got to tighten up. The biggest thing for him is definitely defense. Like outside of just being able to score and taking opportunities of that, he's shown that he can do that. Defensively is going to be his big thing. I know that Alvarado hasn't necessarily been, stellar. Like he's been very up and down. Had a very good consistent game tonight. He's just going to get the preference, man. They traded for him. He's a veteran. He's been in the league long enough. This is really truly Kolak's like first year getting extended run. I think they're going to rely more so on Alvarado. I would like to see Kolak get back in there. I would like to, just because he's a natural playmaker. I feel like he can actually help guys like Towns, Bridges, all these other guys just get involved. And I even think even with Brunson on the court, like you could see him helping Brunson too, just to alleviate Brunson from that playmaking role so that Brunson could just focus on being that scorer. Unless the defense just ticks up, I just don't see it happening though. That's good. That's just how I see it, man. I would like to see him back out there. I just think the defense is what's holding him back. All right, Adam, let's see you. Adam, do we got you this time? What's going on? Adam, going once. Going twice. All right, Adam. I think something is on with your Discord on your end. Not sure what it is. I'll reach out to TM and see what's going on over there. Make sure that your settings are set so that way the mic is coming in through whatever audio device that you're using, and go through there, all right? But all right. Let's get to LP. We're going to close out with Mr. Ed. LP, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Yo, Alex, what's up, man? Can you hear me? What's good?
Yeah, man, I can hear you. How you feeling?
Yo, man, feeling good, man. Feeling good. I mean, called in last night, aggravated about that loss. I know that's last night, but I expected us to win today. I was saying that, and I think we'll beat the Bulls Friday. But you know this, Alex, man. I just think we gotta, you know, like Cat, he seems to show up against the teams that are like that we're less than that we should be. I just like to see him play like this against the higher competition. That's all. Hopefully he could do that going forward. But yeah, I mean, feels good. I just think we just gonna have to be consistent. And like you said early in the show, I don't think we've earned that to where we can just turn the switch on. I just don't think the Knicks are at that point where they just need to keep playing consistent, still keep learning, and just finish the season strong, and let's go into the playoffs ready to play. That's it, Alex, man. But yo, thanks for taking my call, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you, LP. Have a good one, my man. Look, they don't. They do not have that credit to say that they can flip a switch. I don't really believe in flipping a switch. There's like very few rare teams, even players that get that credit. Like LeBron James can get that credit saying, "Hey, I can flip a switch whenever, man. I can coast." LeBron trains like insane, even up to this age right now. Like that's a guy I could say, yeah, you know what? We'll know he'll flip a switch. That guy can get locked in whenever. We've seen his body of work is extensive enough where we can believe it. This team has not earned that right yet. They have not earned that right. They have not. And they just got to get it done. They got to get it done. They just got to get it done. They got to lock in, get ready. This team has so much talent. This is supposed to be a year that has the runway. Nothing's ever guaranteed, but we got to see it, man. Just got to see it follow through. All right. Let's get to our last caller, man. Let's get to Mr. Ed. Mr. Ed, how are you feeling?
Doing good. How you doing, Alex?
I'm doing all right, man. How you feel about this game? Does it put you back in like good spirits saying, hey, I believe in this team? Where you at with them right now?
I honestly, I think, I mean, again, like the Grizzlies, we can't really overrate it that much, but I do think it showed, though, at least with someone like Mikal, I do think he just needs the ball in his hands more. Like, I think with a lot of his stuff where he kind of goes in and out with his consistency, and as the other people on the team do, I feel like a lot of it is just the way the offense is structured when Brunson is in the lineup. And I called in last night and talked with the franchise about is something similar to this, where I think when the offense is getting funneled to Josh Hart, it kind of clogs the passing lanes and it doesn't really help them get into their flow, which I think Mike Brown, he wants that spray out to the perimeter or the drive into the basket trying to break down the defense. And I think Hart can sometimes be a little slow making those decisions and not really reacting fast enough. But I think with someone like Mikal, and again, it's just the Grizzlies tonight, but the way that he was breaking down the defense tonight was pretty good in initiating the offense and getting to the basket. And I think he had that role tonight because Brunson wasn't there, and you're not doing the Brunson and Hart pick and roll ad nauseum. So it changed the offense a bit. And I think you can tell, like, yes, it did result in some more turnovers, but I think it did flow a little better tonight. And I don't know, it's just something to consider when Jalen comes back, obviously, for the next game, and maybe see if you can spread out the minutes a bit differently, and maybe try and see if you can limit that Brunson and Hart pick and roll. But I don't know. Oh well, on to the next one, I guess.
I think part of it too, like with Bridges, is like, look, he gets those opportunities, especially with that second unit when he's out there with Cat, and I feel like, look, especially with the way Alvarado's played, I feel like that's even a bigger opportunity for him to demand it. And I think a lot of this too comes down to the players as well, in my eyes, where yes, the coach has to make that emphasis saying, this is what I want, X, Y, and Z. You guys do it this way or the highway. That's what Tom Thibodeau did, right? That's why guys knew what they were going to do and what everyone's role was supposed to be. Brown is more of our like guys can freelance, gives those guys the opportunities, which look has worked to its benefit, has worked to some benefits, right? Where you have the multiple initiators, guys bring up the rock, not necessarily just relying on Brunson and just kind of like making him do all the effort and having to like navigate through these crazy wings, whether it be the Thompson twins or whoever. I think when it comes to Bridges, though, like more often than not, we just see that he doesn't like to drive and really get downhill unless like he gets an open cutting lane or stuff like that. I think that's the difficulty. And like he doesn't really like to work through contact, which when you drive, you have to be willing to do that at times. I think that's just the biggest thing. And against a Grizzlies team like this, like it's funny just seeing him like finish through contact, because if it was another team that is a little bit more higher end, I don't think he'd be doing that. We've seen that more often than not. I think that's why Josh gets these minutes. It's that he's more than willing to be a physical, be a bruiser, and that's why he's going to be that other player. And that's why I feel like he's just back in that starting lineup and why they rely on him. Otherwise, if somebody else was capable of doing that, I feel like they would tinker a little bit more and do that. But outside of that, I think that's why you're going to get Josh Hart. And it's for this 5-out spacing that they're trying to do. Like, that's the whole point of what you're talking about, right? Just like somebody that can drive, kick, get the reversals,
Yep.
get guys open looks. You're just going to need Hart out there because he's the second willing guy to do that. Like, I don't really think OG is a guy who can drive and kick all that well. Cat, not really the best off the dribble. Like, he's good when he's stationed up and like working the post to pass out. But then if you're just thinking about anybody else, like Mikal could be that guy. I just don't see it regular enough where I'm like, all right, we can give you a lot more run because you're willing to be physical. I feel like he shies away from it more often than not.
Hmm. I don't necessarily think the lineup, because you mentioned with that they want to do like the 5-out and the spray and spread the ball, and I don't know if they necessarily need that bruiser type of player in the starting lineup with them, because I think it does kind of clog it a little bit. It forms a logjam within the offense when they're trying to play fast and not necessarily with the contact, but just getting the ball, zip it around the court. And I mean, I do think Josh Hart is a great, valuable part of the team, and what he offers is very invaluable. And I think so, in some situations, especially now that we're going to be in the playoffs, I just think if we get trapped in those kind of like, the pick and roll kind of goes into nowhere, and we're kind of like making, late shot clock decisions, we kind of get stuck.
Mhm.
And I don't know, at least with Mikal, like, it's not necessarily, I don't think, the contact. I think it's more so the speed and the way that he can kind of just sprint in a second and then maybe pass out. Because if he doesn't want to go for the layup or the contact, which, as we've seen, he doesn't like to do, you can theoretically have maybe just Jalen, trying to get open outside the perimeter, and use Jalen just more so like how Steph was used with the Warriors, as Mike Brown was right there to see that they use Steph a lot off ball a lot of times just to get him open, and so he wasn't really using so much energy in those early game moments. So I don't know. It's interesting to think, about, and hopefully, they can figure it all out for the playoffs. Honestly, I do think the process has been better this year than last year. Even if the records are similar, I think the
Mhm.
way that we're going about the game with the offense, and I do think it's a better state than it was last year. So, you know what? We'll see. Hopefully they can figure it out. But, New York basketball, it's not New York basketball if there isn't some question marks. So we'll see.
That's a fact, Mr. That's a fact. Appreciate you for calling in, my man. Appreciate the call.
Of
Look,
course, have a good one.
you too. I think it all comes back down to, for this team, and if we're talking about like how it's all gonna be worked out, it all like for Cat to get those pick and roll looks, I go to the coach. I look at the head coach for a lot of this stuff, man. Like, you can look at it's everybody. It's a whole collective. Like, the fact that we don't really have a good, like, we saw it last year under Tiz where we saw the Brunson Cat pick and roll, then they adjusted. They put the center on Hart, they put the wing on Cat, and you even saw, shout out to Shax once again for pointing this out. You see that, look, where you have Cat going to the post, right? If you put Hart into the weak side, guys are able just to like quickly rotate. You get the center right back on Cat, and then you're just, it's just easy to guard. I get that whole aspect. I just don't think that we have, like, if you put Deuce out there, you're not gonna have the whole theory behind spacing out is to have guys I understand it's to create driving lanes, but you have to have guys who are willing to drive. Deuce averages like 3 drives per game, and I know the shooting is there, but you got to have guys who are willing to drive too. Same thing with Shamet. Shamet is a guy who averages like 2 to 3 drives per game. You got to have guys who are willing to drive. And if guys aren't able to break down, or our guys aren't able just to initially create for others to create that ball reversal, you're still relying on Brunson to get downhill. So I think that's why they lean towards Josh, because he's willing and more physical and can do those things. So that's why I think that they lean towards him. And that's just where they stand at this point. But to get Cat more involved, I'm looking at the coach at this point too. Like, the coach has to figure it out, man. Coach has to figure it out. This is just, it's just at this point, we could talk about Brunson not passing the Cat. This is where I look at it. Brown's got to say, hey, this is what the hierarchy is in getting Cat the ball. We got to do this in these situations. He's got to point it out. Then it has to get down to Cat wanting to demand the ball. When he's out there, he's got to be vocal in the huddle too. You can't just be sulking off to the side. You can't just be pouting. You got to go talk to your guys, be like, yo, I need the rock. This is my situation. I got it. Give me the rock. Believe in me. I'm the second best guy on this team who can put the ball in the hoop. Get me the rock. He's got to say that point blank period. And then it gets down to the players and just being able to see that. Because if Cat's calling for it and he's not getting it, then I could just be looking at everybody else, be like, why aren't you doing it? It's a whole collective at this point. There's not just one person. But they got to get this all figured out. But with all that said, man, I think this is a good place to end the show, all right? This is a good place to end the show. Appreciate all of you for tuning in for another KFTV post-game live. Shout out to everyone who tuned in to me being on the solo dolo for this Grizzlies game. Knicks won 130-119. Appreciate you all you for being here for tonight. Okay, and remember, go support our sponsors. All right, go support Mars Men. All right, go to mengotomars.com if you're feeling like you're losing energy. All right, if you feel like you're down on energy, go to mengotomars.com and make sure to tell them that KFTV sent you. On top of that, go to Fabletics. All right, make sure Fabletics, sign up as a VIP to get 8% off of everything. And go to fabletics.com/KFTV and make sure to take that style quiz. All right, so support our sponsors there. Make sure to go support our newsletter. It's free. Gets right to your email inbox every day for free. All right, you don't got to go to a web browser or anything. And the cool thing about the newsletter, it gets you articles from our top writers. They're constantly putting out great content. Omar's doing a great series right now, breaking down players right before the postseason. So make sure to check that out. Remy does a phenomenal job doing game recaps. You got Jeff who does your Knicks pulse check. So make sure to go check out that, man. Make sure to go check out the newsletter for that reason. On top of that, that's how you stay locked in with the channel, what's going on with the channel. That's where you get to check out about our sponsors, see who we have, so you can go support our other sponsors. Additionally, watch parties. That's also a good way to know where the watch parties are going to be. They're always going to be in the newsletter, keeping you abreast of everything. So make sure to sign up. It's free, people. It is free. It helps us, all right, to get the readership too. But it is free, and that's how you get to stay connected and in tune with what's going on here. So make sure to sign up for the newsletter. And salute to Knicks Nation once again for tapping in. Shout out to all the franchise channel members. All right, appreciate all of you. Shout out to all the mods as well, man. Appreciate you all for tapping in. And we did get another super chat. Shout out to Adams Yanks Cap 4262. Shout out for the $5 super chat. It says, hey guys, sorry I didn't hear you message in the call. My stream was very ahead of the call on the app streams. Seems to be broken. All right, it's all good, Adam. We'll get you on the next one, man. Don't worry. Make sure to call in for the next show, and we'll get you back in there. All right. Appreciate you, though. And yeah, Knicks won, man. Let's see if they can continue to do this. All right. They got 5 more games left. Let's see if they can put together a solid 5 games to close out the season to get ready for this postseason run. Appreciate everyone once again. We'll catch you on the next one. We out.